Okay, hello everyone. A very good morning to all of you. And yeah, once again, I welcome all of you for the second day of webinar on MongoDB. And I hope all of you can hear me out clear. Perfect, then let's start. So today we will continue with few more operations inside our MongoDB. And as a quick recap, of what we have covered in the yesterday's session. So we started up with what is basically NoSQL databases, and we have covered the different types. We saw what are those types in detail, and we have seen one or two examples for every one of them. And MongoDB is one of the NoSQL database which falls under the category of document-oriented database. And we have seen how you can download and have it inside your machine. Now MongoDB also offers a standalone installation as well as a server based. So the one that we have seen so far is how to download it in your individual machine, and you can start practicing on it. And we have also seen how to convert either a CSV file or a JSON file into a Mongo collection, and internally how these data will be stored in the pattern of BSIN, which is binary format of your JSON file, and the need for conversion also we have seen. And then after that, after we loaded a collection inside a particular Mongo database through the GUI editor, which is your Mongo Compass, which also comes along with your installation, we can go ahead and filter out records by writing certain syntaxes. And the query language that we are using over here is slightly different than the query language that we do have with respect to other SQL based databases. So we have seen them as well. And few of the operators we have touched upon, like greater than, less than, not in, greater than, equal to, and few of the logical operators like and, or, and then nor. So these stuffs we have seen. Right. So today we'll take forward from there and we'll continue. So I'm opening my Mongo Compass screen. Okay. So this is one of the data that we have loaded yesterday, which is data related to IPL. The source for our data was in a format of a CSV, and we converted that CSV file into an MongoDB collection here. We built a new database for us named as Learnbay webinar, and within that we have built multiple collection. One of the collection that we have built is IPL, and within that we will be able to see records. And whatever operations that we wanted to do, we can write it over here. Basically any filter operation if you want, you can write it there and click on find. So you will be getting those records, right? So these are the stuffs that we have covered. So from here, let's see few more operations too. Now I'm writing match ID. Okay. Now suppose I'm interested in checking it in a particular list. So for example, if you could see, the match ID is one of the field which contain values like this. And similarly, let's say if at all I have something like 335986. Okay. So these are the two records. Currently, I'm looking for searching. Okay. Now I'm clicking over here. So ideally, we were getting around 225 records, around the 130K records that we had on the entire table. We have got 225 records, and these 225 records, they are nothing but the one which satisfy my condition here, right? Which means all these documents either have in match ID say 335987 or 335986. So if I scroll down and have a look on it, I might be finding till now all are in the same match ID, right? And like this, we do have all other, whatever records which are having this particular match ID, everything falls in place, right? Now, you can filter it in a little more better way when it comes to uh, searching. So if you can see, there is a drop down here, right? Like options. Go ahead and click on that. It will drop down you, or it will open up 3 more options for you. Now, what are these 3 more options? They are little enhanced versions of your find operation. Okay, now let me show you what is all this. The first one is basically called project, right? Now, what are all the fields I'm interested in projecting from the entire records? Now, this is mainly useful, especially if we are dealing with a document which contains lot of keys. Now, I do have a document which contains around 100 fields inside it. There is a very great possibility that such kind of data you will work with Mongo. And because that is a benefit of your Mongo, right? It's been much flexible. Any kind of data you can store inside your collection. So now I have around 100 fields, and within them, again, I have subfields. Now, in that case, when I'm trying to find out a query wherein I'm interested in checking the match IDs to these particular numbers, I don't want all the fields to be printed out. Okay, rather, I'm interested in finding the match ID. Okay, and I'm interested in finding the striker ID, who is the one who is hitting, and I'm interested in finding the bowler ID. Only these 3 informations I need. Then what you can actually do in the project field, go ahead and type the field name :1. So 1 basically represents display and 0 represent don't display. So by default, everything will be default in a 0 mode, but that will give you the entire document. Now, if I don't want the entire document to be visible, only these selected fields, if you can show me, which is enough for me, then go ahead and type this. And now you click on find, you could easily see the difference that it is showing. So what are all the fields that I have been looking forward will come. Now, compulsorily ID will always be there, right? Underscore ID is a default field, and we have discussed a lot about it yesterday, right? Like why we need to have it's an hexadecimal number, and it cannot hold any duplicate value. Even the entire document, if it is a duplicate, but ID should be different, right? Those stuffs, those concepts we have seen yesterday, right? Now, and that's the reason, even if you don't specify this underscore ID explicitly here, but it will automatically be displayed to you, because by default in your Mongo find operation, underscore ID is always set to 1. Okay, fine. Now, what is this next one? The next one is again an optional field. Now, here, what you can specify is if at all I am interested in arranging them based on any one of the column. So, for example, let's take here, I could find the bowler ID to be pretty much same. So, what let's do is, okay, we do have a different bowler ID. Okay, now then what I'm going to do is set the bowler ID in a descending fashion. Hit this and type -1. And as simple as it goes, if it's a +1, it is a sorted order. If it is a -1, it is an descending order. Now here you can observe something called maximum time in terms of milliseconds. Can you see this one? Now what does it simply mean here is you can even control how many time you want this query to be executed. Now, for example, like why we need to specify this, it's not mandate that you have to specify this time, but the reason why there is a facility for specifying it is Now, you don't want this particular query to be running forever, right? Or if the data is really big and at the same time I want to query it, but I don't want the entire query to be running for a longer time, then you can set a time limit here. So for example, like I'm going to set here is, so here it has been mentioned as 60,000. So I'm going to mention it as 100,000. Okay, now what will happen here is within this millisecond for this query, how much ever records I'll get, only display that. You don't have to go and look out for the entire records without any boundary on the time. Use this bounded time. Within the time, whatever records you are getting, how much ever records you are getting, just display me that. Is that clear? Okay, these features generally we don't get, right? Like setting out the time upfront, and even if you can do, it's not as simple as it sounds here. Agreed? Fine. The last option, and also, okay, one more thing here. You can sort them, as I said, either in the ascending or in the descending. Now, if at all I want a particular column to be in an ascending and the other column to be descending, then how does it goes? Very well, you can do. So give striker ID to be in the ascending order. So now what is it that I'm looking forward is arrange the bowler ID in the descending fashion, and within that, in the sense if at all any two bowler ID comes with same number, then you have to go to striker ID, and striker ID has to be in the ascending order. Now see, when I'm clicking on this, so I'm going to set initially the bowler ID to be in the descending fashion. So basically it starts up from 106. Okay. Among the 225 records, why 225? Because we are only looking out for these two matches ID. So among the entire 1.3 lakh records, there were only 225 records, which is satisfying this match ID. And within that, I'm looking for only these three fields. And when I'm trying to display, now how I want you to display is arrange the bowling IDs in the descending fashion. And whenever there is a bowling ID same, then the preference will be given to the next field, which is a striker ID. And see here, see, this is a very exact example for that. Now I have 106 three times coming up. Two times the striker ID is same, so it's fine. The third time the striker ID is becoming 7. And as you see, they have been arranged in the ascending fashion. Okay. Getting it, friends? Fine. The fourth option is basically called collation. So now this is again an optional one. This generally you don't do in all kind of data. For what reason or for what specific use case this collation is there is, it is to control a lot of textual based conditions. Okay, so whenever you have any textual data, and if there are some conditions that are getting applied on the textual data, and you are referring to a particular language support for that textual data. So if you want to know much more about it, you can click on this I symbol, right? It will take you into their document page, the MongoDB's official document page. You can see the clear details here. So it allows user to specify language specific rules. Like we have this UTF conversion or any other textual conversion, how it has to happen. Now, most of the time you don't do this because we don't need textual based informations in most of the industry based projects. So for that reason, you can keep it as a local simple, in the sense that is a default one, as you see here. So I'm not touching it because I'm not interested in any of the textual based search here or textual based operation. Hence, I'm skipping this collation and I'm coming to this part. Now this is very similar to you. You would have used this in multiple places in your RDBMS itself. What's a limit will do? Limit keyword in your RDBMS, what does it help? Yeah, how many number of records, right? It limits a number of records to display. Correct. Now suppose I have 100 records or 1000 records in the table, and when I'm writing select star from table name limit 5, it will only give me the top 5 records for, correct? So I'm going to have, let's say 100. So I know this entire query will give me 225, but I'm not interested in viewing all of them. All I'm interested is viewing only the top 100. What do you think the skip will do? Any idea? Any idea on the skip operation along with the limit? Refresh conditions, not exactly. So skip is basically, see what I'm saying here is I'm telling you to limit 100 records. So let's say I'm having records falling in from 1 to 1000. Okay, when I say limit to 100, then it will only display me 1 till 100, right? That we are clear. Now, on top of this 1 till 100, I want to skip the first 5 records. So basically what I'll get, the final output is starting from 6 to 100 I will get. That is your skip. So because generally limit will always start from top, right? Will always start from the very first row. But if suppose I have a specific use case wherein I'm not interested in the very first data, rather I'm only interested in the starting from the fifth data all the way up to the 100, then in that case, skip can be of helpful. So how much ever you are limiting, in that you can skip the top few records and display the remaining stuffs. Is that clear now? Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm limiting to 100, and in that I'm skipping 10. Okay, so what is actually happening here is the first 10 records have been taken out and the remaining records have been displayed out for us. Okay. Could you show limit change? You want me to change this and show? This is what you're asking? Then I changed it to limit 200, and now I did a refresh and you could see the number of records it's displaying is changed to 200. I mean, you mean in the shell? This is how you can do it through your compass, wherein you can pass these parameters. If you want to try out the same operations in your Mongo shell, right? I will show you the Mongo shell parameters. These are old ones, but for that you need to know a little bit of syntax. So, and that's the simple reason I'm doing them from your GUI editor here. So going into the shell, you have to learn all these commands by heart and you have to try them out. So that will take a little time for you. Now, considering this being the very first 2 sessions for you, I'm not going into a shell and showing a lot of syntaxes, which makes understanding a little bit hard. Okay, no problem. Now, but then to everyone else, you can do all, see whatever I'm doing here, right? Understand that whatever I'm doing here, you can very well see or you can very well do on your Mongo shell as well. To be frank, there are few operations that you can only do in your shell, not on your compass. Okay, now after you finished a successful installation, if you type mongo sh, it will open the Mongo shell for you. Now here you can get into different databases. So what was the one that we have created? It was Learnbay webinar. So I'm just opening that. Okay, now you can do a show collections. Okay, these are the collections that we have. So all the find statements, the update that we are going to get, everything we can very well do on this shell as well. But as I said, initially, I would recommend you, I mean, for people who don't have any idea on NoSQL database, I would recommend to make use of your compass at its best. Learn the nuances and then get into shell so that you'll get a comfort there. Okay, but how about others? Are you able to see all this part on my screen? And can you find the difference out when I changed the limit and when I changed the skip functions? Okay, perfect. Ratna Prabha, yeah, I think you will be getting a recording. You can just contact with the Learnbay team. They will help you out. Okay, fine. Any questions on these four options? And again, remember, it's not mandate that you have to do all these four options always. Filter or find is, of course, is mandate because that is where you're writing all these conditions. But the remaining four, the remaining three is up to you. If you have a need for it, you can go ahead. Otherwise, quickly do a reset and you can short it out and you can stick with just your filter condition itself. Okay, so now these are the different ways in which we can find out a record based on whatever field that we are looking out for. Now let's move into one more step and understand how I can update my record, right? Because that is also equally important. Like imagine I have inserted some records and after insertion, I'm filtering the records. Now I'm getting some use cases wherein I have to go and update the record. Now, this is where you will find a challenge in only depending on the compass because compass does not let you perform updates in bulk. So I'll repeat, compass does not help you to update the records in a document in a bulk method. In the sense, you have to go record by record and you have to update. So for example, let's imagine now I have to change this team bowling ID. There is a field called team bowling ID, right? I need to change this team bowling ID to 5. Now what I'll do, go ahead and can you see this pencil symbol? Click on that and click over here and delete it and modify. Now if you want to go with this number itself, click on update. You could see an update box on the right hand side. I hope you are seeing, and you can click on the update and it will inform you that the document gets updated. And if you can do a quick refresh, the refresh button is again available on the top right side. Now if you could see, the record has been updated. But I mean, like this, in all kind of entries you can update. So for example, I'm interested in changing this striking batting position. I'm clicking on this. Okay, and I'm changing this into 9. But for some reason, I don't want this change to be updated. Then you can even undo it. You can click on this undo button, which is there on the leftmost side. That will be a symbol like this. Okay, you can undo that. So you will go back to the original value. But all these happens only when you click a document by document and updating those corresponding fields. Now, is there any way wherein I have okay, I'll give you a use case wherein all the entries of the match ID 335987, I want to update the team bowling ID to let's say 5. Now, overall, let's imagine among that 1.3 L records, there were some 250 records or 200 records, which is having this match ID. Now, since Compass does not support bulk updates, what I will end up in doing is, first I will find this query. You know how to do that. Just now we have seen extract only 335987. Then you have to go document by document on all these 200 records and update your bowling ID to 5. Now that's not as simple as it sounds. Correct? You ideally go to all those 200 records individually and you have to change it, which is certainly going to be a very big task for us, and it is not going to happen in that way. Correct? There has to be some solution wherein we can easily update it. Now that is where we must depend upon shell. So you can go to any patterned data, but whatever pattern it is, you have to edit it document by document only. You cannot do a bulk update like selecting on all the match ID and at one shot change the team bowling ID to 5. No, there is no such feature available, at least till now in the 6.0. We don't have feature. Maybe we do expect it coming up in the future versions. But right now, yes, that's one challenge. Fine. But then how people are using, because so far industries have been using Mongo, and they would have got a requirement of updating records in a bulk manner. Right now, how that can be done, I'll show you. So here is where you need to understand some of the query languages of MongoDB. Okay, am I clear? Is the concept clear? The reason why we are now switching over to Mongo Shell and not on Compass? If any of you have any questions, please ask. Yes, exactly, Nivedita. Not just only for bulk, not just only for update in bulk, even for delete. Okay, I'll show you delete, then together we can come here and see. Even for delete, if you see, you could see this delete option, right? Now, when you click on this, you can delete this entire document. See, I'm going to click on this. Just have a look on this 335987 and the team bowling ID is 5. Now I'm clicking this and it is asking you, do you really want to delete it? Yes, I'm interested in delete it. The document gets deleted. If you refresh, it has been gone. Right? Now the same way, the same applies to your update also. But how about deleting documents based on some condition, like all the match IDs which are 335987, I want to delete? No, again, there is no possibility on your Compass to do that. So both your update bulk and your delete bulk functions is not possible on your Compass. So you end up in coming to shell. Fine. Now let me show you how you can do this. In order to clear the screen, you have to press Control L. Okay. So CTRL plus, and it's a shortcut for clearing out the screen. Fine. Now what we are going to do is, let me first show you how to find the records by writing a query. Now simple is find of, and then I'm calling a function called pretty of. Now this pretty of is just an cosmetic operation. If you want, you can write this pretty of function, or if you don't want the records to be displayed in a pretty manner, just the regular manner is enough, then you can skip this. Okay, so I'm hitting enter. Okay, now what happens if you see all these records, whatever we have seen here in this manner, is displayed out here in this way, like in a JSON document. Okay, fine. Now this is a simple find. Now here itself you can write all your conditions again. I don't want to go with all of them. Okay, now for example, I'm just interested in saying 335987. Put them inside quotes. So these are some extra stuffs that you have to take care of. These stuffs you don't have to do when you're working on your compass, right? But then the moment as your screen is sharing, it is in Meet page, is it?
Yes, ma'am, it is in Meet page.
It is showing me that it's okay. Wait, let me reshare it. How about now?
Yeah, now it is visible, ma'am.
The shell screen is visible, right? The black
Yes,
one.
yes. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Fine. Please do let me know because for me it was showing is your screen is sharing. So where you guys saw this when I was doing this find pretty?
Actually, you're not able to find what you have done it in the black screen, which is shell from the start
Oh,
at
okay.
present.
Okay, no problem. I'll repeat again, not an issue. So what I did was I just logged in into my shell. Okay, but I typed Mongo SH the way that we did yesterday, and then I get into use the DB that I'm having all my collections in. So as you see, Learnbay webinar is a DB within which we do have. Hence, I have written a command called use Learnbay webinar, and within that, I was showing you all the collections whatever you could see. So as you see, display 3 collections, and even here there were 3 collections. And if at all I want to display the records inside it, there is a function called find off. Now, like how we did a find here just by typing the field name and the value, the same way you can also do it here. Now, first I will show you just an empty find off. The empty find off will ideally give all the records. Can you see the records? This is the same record which you have seen here. But just that the format in which it is displaying is little different. Okay. So now what we are going to do is inside my find, I'm going to write some condition. Now, what is a condition is I'm going to say my match ID should be in 335987, comma 335986. Okay, then close it accordingly. And then when you hit an enter, you could find the same thing. See, this condition is nothing but the same condition that I have written here, but just few places syntactically it will differ. So can you see this is DPL, DP dot the collection name, which is my IPL find. Within that, I have to specify it exactly. So this is my column name. This is the in operator. This is a bunch of values that I'm looking for. And finally, pretty off. Pretty off is just, as I said, it's a cosmetic function which helps you to display the record in a neat way. If you don't want this, you can skip this. I will also show you without pretty off. So here in this file, there are no embedded documents. It is just one single key and value, right? The moment when you get to see embedded documents or arrays, you can find a very good difference in using pretty and without using pretty. Okay, fine. So now the same thing is what we have initially did here. But here you will not be writing the DB name, collection, find, directly you will apply the condition. But since it's in a shell, we need to explicitly mention everything. Okay, getting on this command. So we haven't started any bulk updates or bulk deletes. I'm just showing you a simple find. I will show you how you can do the bulk update. But just tell me whether till this place is clear. Okay. So let's do a bulk update. Okay. Now, what is a bulk update that I'm looking for? I'm interested in finding this particular match, right? This is a match we are looking for, right? So what is my bulk update is whenever a match ID is something like this, I want the striker ID or any field. Let's take striker ID. Striker ID to be changed to 4. Okay, I'll repeat again. My bulk update is basically find out the matches which are having a number, say 335987, and convert their striker IDs, whatever it is, let's convert it into 4. Now let's see how easily you can achieve this in your shell. So first type your collection name, and then there is an API called update many. Now what is this API will actually do? It will take 2 parameters. So understand, this is very important. I'm just stressing it again because these syntaxes might be new to many of you, so it would be little difficult in the initial step when we are learning it, but well, when you start practicing it, it will be much easy for you. So the generic syntax is basically update many. It will take 2 curly brackets. This is a generic syntax. The first curly bracket represents the values you want to update. So basically like a find. So what I will write in my use case, I'm going to write match ID colon 335987 because those are the records which I'm looking for update. The second bracket will represent to what it has to be updated. To what value it has to be updated. So if it can be that same column or it can be a different column. So in my use case again, I will write here the match ID and I will here write the striker ID to be 4. So whenever there is a matching record on the first curly brackets, extract those, and for those records, update the striker ID to 4 by referring to the second bracket. That's it. This is a simple syntax behind your update menu. So let's see how we can write it. So I'm going to write match underscore ID colon, what is my match number? So 335987, right? So I'm going to specify that and close my curly. You have to close it compulsorily because the first bunch or the first curly bracket represents the find function. The next curly bracket is going to represent what is the value to which you are trying to update. So I'm going to set the field, say striker ID. They are case sensitive, so please do check out how your striker ID looks. Okay, it is capital S and ID. So set the striker ID to 4. So here you are learning a new operator called $set. What this set will do, whenever you are setting or whenever you are changing a value to something else, you will be using this $set. So now go and change this. So I'm just trying to close this function and click on enter. Now you could find there are 2 arguments. Of course, there are 5 arguments it will report, which is basically a notation. But it gives me 2, which says 224 records are matching for this particular condition, but it has updated only, modified count is only 212. Now, any idea why there is a gap? Why there is a gap of 12 records? Exactly, Shivani, right? Because these 12 records, they might be having the striker ID 4, when it comes from your source itself, right? So that is the reason you could find a gap. So the match ID, so the matching number of records is 224, and out of which 212 records have been updated. It does not mean it only update 212, because all the remaining 12 are satisfying your striker ID to be 4 before itself, and hence there is no need for an update to happen. Now, how can I cross check this, whether it has been updated or not? What is a command that I can write in order to check whether it's been reflected or not? A simple find here. If you can write out a find here, well, go ahead and do. Or if you find no, I know how to deal with this here, then you can do it here also. So 335987, right? This is the number that I'm looking for. So specify them, hit enter, and I should be finding all the striker IDs to be full, right? I'm checking all the striker IDs to be full. Okay. Also, you can do something like this. You can do on match ID, and then you can also check on another ID. Remember, we have seen the $and operator yesterday, right? So what I can simply do, you guys can give it a try. I'm not going to write the entire statement, but you can give it a try. Simple $and, right? And match ID is 335987, and striker ID not equal to 4. So will this be giving me any record? Should it give me any records here for the syntax? After the update, exactly, right? After the update, in order to check whether everything has been updated, you can either write, see, this is not the only statement that you can cross check. I'm showing it in this way. You can write in multiple way. Simply write striker ID not equal to 4. You should get 0 records. That is also another way, along with your match ID, right? So all these conditions you can cross check. So this is an update on bulk. But how about I'm interested, I know updating individual record, you can very well handle it on your compass itself. But is there any way that I can update only one record here? Very well, you can do. What you have to write is change this update menu to update one. Okay. Now I'm doing this to 5. Now what will happen? You can find it automatically picks up the matching ID as 1. So that does not mean we have only one record. Why the count is 1 is because I changed my function to update 1. So the moment you change it to update 1, what actually happens is, even though if this condition meets 100 records, it is not going to work on all the 100 records. Rather, it will take the very first record, and on that particular record, it will apply this condition. Okay, so let me go here and do a quick refresh. You could find the striker ID for the very first record alone being changed to 5. The remaining all has been still available as 4. Got it? You can also write multiple conditions like this, right? Striker ID colon 5. You can find out there is only one record with this 2 conditions being satisfied. Getting it? Is that clear? Match ID along with uh, the modification. So this is for your update many or update one. Update many is for a bulk update. Update one is for a single update record. Single update record, ideally you can handle them in the compass itself. But if you want to come here and make change, you can make a change here also. Now, along with this, there are few other operators that we will see. So I have covered $set. Now, similarly, there is something called INC. Any idea what this INC will be? Yeah, Nivedita, it is a part of a syntax, because when you are writing a square bracket, it basically means you are going to enclose multiple condition, because it is an AND function, right? AND operator. When you are writing an AND operator, definitely it means that we are going to include multiple conditions. And for that reason, you have to enclose all of them inside a square bracket. It is a part of a syntax. It applies for your and, it applies for your or, nor, all this, or this comparison operator, sorry, all these logical operators, it is included as a part of the syntax. Okay, Nivedita. Yeah. Shivani, it's not include, it is increment. INC stands for increment. Now, what does increment basically represent is, now I have an existing value. Let's say I have the, like I have a run field, run scored field. Okay, now I have an initial number. It could be anything. Okay, it can be 10 or it can be 15 for some records. It can be 20, 50. Now, irrespective of whatever was there before, I want to increment it with a 5. Okay, then you can use this operator called $inc. And remember the fact, it can be applied only on an integer based field, number based field, right? As you know, you can't apply increment on a string call. Fine. Now let's try that. Again, I want to try it out on one record, so it will be easy for us to validate. So I'm going to set the increment function. Now increment it by 2. So now what I will get? Only one record, the very first record of 335987, has to change the existing striker ID. Whatever is the existing striker ID, it has to be incremented by 2. I'm hitting an enter. I'm coming to my compass. I'm doing a quick find one more time. Not this one, because right now it has been incremented. And can you see the previous strike ID, which was 5, has been updated to 7 now? And why only this has been updated? Why not these, the remaining values? Why only the first record? Because it is update 1. Exactly right. Okay, the topmost one, the update one will always see update 1. It's nothing but limit 1. Technically speaking, that is what update 1 basically do. Okay, now a question to all of you. What will happen if I write a statement like this? Update many, and then I'm writing set some strike underscore ID to 80. Now, what this statement will do? What do you think will happen if I run this? One more curly bracket here. Okay, just as part of the syntax. But what will happen when you run this? You can definitely answer, because we discussed about the generic syntax. Exactly, Nivedita, right? Update all the documents. Because remember the fact, when we were initially discussing about the generic syntax, I told you the first curly bracket helps me to find what are all the records that I'm interested in updating. Now, when I don't specify anything, what I'm simply saying is update everything. Update how much ever records is there inside, you can delete it. So now you know the complete difference between updating a single record, updating some bunch of records satisfying a condition, and complete update. So there are two words. One is called bulk update and another one is called complete update. Now both can happen with the API called update many. Okay. Now let me show that also. We don't have a field called stadium or location, right? Okay, I don't think we have bad ID. Okay, now let me do that. Okay, what I'm going to do, I'm going to write an update many. I'm not going to write anything inside. Rather, I'm going to write like stadium. Okay, some name. So I belong to Bangalore in India. So I'm writing this name. This is one of the cricket stadium. We do have it here. Okay. Now what will happen? See, it's still not giving me. It took some time for me, right? Now, can you find the time that it basically takes? Can you imagine? See, it wouldn't be beyond some seconds, right? Max of some 30, 40 seconds it has reported. Now, it is just a matter of 30 second or a 40 second to add one entire column on 136K records. So just imagine the speed on which it works. Can you guys sense it? Because if at all I'm trying to do the same stuff on an RDBMS, people who are working on it can easily understand the difference between them, right? Now, of course, I need to alter it. I need to change the entire structure. See, I'm not promoting here Mongo, or I'm not giving any negative stuffs for your SQL. I'm just helping you to compare the speed. Okay, it has its own plus and minus that we know. We spoke about them yesterday. Okay, the reason why I'm telling you is try to compare it so you can understand what are all the uh, stuffs that you can do at its best when it comes to Mongo. uh, can you guys sense that? Can you find the speed in which it gets updated? Now, I'm going to check on a complete reset. Can you see this new field coming up? Right? Yeah. No, it is good for structured data also. The reason is for structured data, we get used to this legacy system for so long. And that's the reason it is always sticking on our head. And the uh, and the way that we are proceeding with the data in nowadays, right, wherein the data, as I said yesterday, becoming so demanding, people kind of switch over from everything being structured to an unstructured way. This is going to gain a very good popularity in recent times. It will. Agree then? Yeah. See, for all this stadium, correct? The new field has been updated, and it's not a matter of 10 or 5 records, or even 5K or 10K. It is 1.3L, so it's certainly huge. Fine. Now coming back, I have showed you the $set function, $increment function, and it can be again applied on multiple conditions, and you can check. For example, you can write when the matching ID is this, and when some ball ID is this, then increment the striker ID to 2. Even that can also be done. So let me do that one last time. So I'm going to check when the match ID is this, and when okay, we have ball ID itself. Ball ID is something like 2. Then I'm going to increment my striker ID by 3. Okay, just to show you some sample. So how we can change it? Just write this other condition along with that. That's it. Ball underscore ID when it is 2. Okay, then I'm going to increment, because striker ID is there, so I'm going to increment my striker ID by 3. Is that fine? So you could find there are 36 records, which are having an match ID of this and a ball ID of this. And none of them, all of them have a striker ID column, and hence all of their striker ID has been changed or incremented by 3. Now, how can I cross check? Again, do a quick refresh. Okay, now this is my ID and this is my ball ID. As you have initially seen, it was 7. It has been changed to 10. For inserting a new field, why are we using update? See, when you are inserting it after the record has been inserted, it is not like you are inserting a fresh document. You are having the document before itself. You are having the document already. All you are trying to do is update that document by adding a new field. You're not inserting a fresh document, right? On the existing document, I'm having this new field being updated inside. If you are going to insert only a single document which contains all of this field, then it is considered as an insert. Now this concept is no more an insert because this existing underscore ID has to undergo a change with the stadium field called this. Got it? Yeah, I think you got it. Fine. Right. Now we have 36 records there, and all those 36 have been updated as well. Okay, so clear on this update and update many. And okay, one more operator before we complete update many. There is also a way wherein you can remove a particular column, because as you can see on your compass, you got only a way to remove the entire document, right? See, when I click on this, it will say remove the entire document. But imagine a situation wherein I don't need to remove the entire document. A particular field inside my document is what I want to remove, right? Sometimes situations demands you like that. Like, I don't want a field like batsman score to be present on this particular match ID, right? Because remember the fact, these are unstructured data. Not necessarily every document has to maintain all the columns compulsorily like in your RDBMS. There can be few documents which does not have a column. The column will not at all be present over there, and it is still a valid document. Great. So now let's see how that can be done. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to write again the same update, okay, but not on, we know that for this condition there were 36 records, right? Remember previously when we did an find for this, we got a count of 36 matching. So now for all those 36 matching, I want to do an unset. So unset is a function which basically helps me to clear out any one particular field from the entire document. Okay, now the unset demands a syntax. I know it is little strange, uh, but then you have to enclose your unset operator always inside a square bracket. In fact, I don't know why this specific reason has been coming up. That is why even if you see, it's not uh, coming up naturally to even to me, because you don't need this square bracket in all your syntaxes, but I kind of get used to seeing this error and correct myself. So you can put an square bracket and enclose your unset. Could be a reason that I do guess is when you're unsetting multiple columns, it again shows it's a list of columns. So for that reason, but the challenge for me in taking it is all other operators doesn't demand a square bracket, but only this. But yeah, we can't go over the syntax and check why it has to be. So this is a syntax, this is a rule book, go by that. So as you see, there are 36, right? As I told you before, this conditions are being giving you 36 docs. So all those 36 docs have been updated. They are also modified. Now, what is a modification they would have gone? Let me write it. Match ID is 335987. Put them in quotes. And bowler ID, right? Ball ID. Ball ID, I want it to be 2. So now as you see here also, you could find 36 records. And for all this 36 record, what is it that we have removed? Over ID. Okay. So there should not be any over ID. You don't have, right? Correct. We are not having over ID in any of these stocks. Okay. Are we clear? So this is a statement. So set is used to set a value for a particular column. Similarly, unset is to take away that particular column on whatever conditions that you are looking for. Okay, clear on all these operators? So we have set, we have increment, we have unset, right? All these operators are. Okay, we will work on them in a very detailed way when we get inside the course. So as you know, this is just an webinar within which I can't cover the entire, the different scenarios that you will be getting in a MySQL collection, but we'll work around with different situations and scenarios in all those. Okay, one last thing before we move on to delete many, one last operator under update many will be max or min. You would have used them in multiple places, right? Let me write the syntax for it. So I'm going to take the same thing and I'm going to take only these two functions. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to write $max, okay, and inside which I'm going to write batsman. Is there anything like, okay, we have a batsman score field. So I'm going to write batsman underscore scored is something like 10. So now what this one will do, anybody would like to interpret this statement? What is this statement will do? Every score below 10 will be showed. Okay, not exactly though. Not exactly like that. See, remember, it is update many. I can take your answer if you are looking out on a find function, but we are trying to do it on update many. So remember that it's not only about the display part, there has to be something else that has to be done, right, Shivani? To take max from den, can you please elaborate then? I'll do one thing. Update if specific. Exactly, Nivedita, right? Can you agree? Can all of you agree to Nivedita's statement? Can updates if a specific value is greater than 10. So I'm going to find records satisfying these two conditions, right? Let's imagine there are some 10 records, 10 documents satisfying this. Now it will take every individual record and it will compare what is the value of batsman score there. Suppose imagine the value of batsman score is just 5 runs. Then it will compare is 5 maximum or 10 maximum. Obviously 10 is maximum. Then it will update it into 10. Now, similarly, if there is an other entry, let's imagine he has scored 20 runs. Then it will again check 20, 10. Which one is max? So the existing 20 is only max. So then go by 20. By max, I mean like everything will be updated. Yeah. If you mean in that context, it is right. Okay. Fine. Now let's cross check this and see whether are we going by this or not. Okay, it shows me some syntax. Let's see what it is. Offering, am I closing all the, okay. There is some issue on closing the brackets. Okay. And ideally, you don't need this square bracket. I don't know why we have this. You don't need the square bracket. You can directly write the max function and the batsman score function. And now we are good to go. As we know, we have 36 records matching this condition. So you can cross check by the match count is 36. And it has updated ideally all of them. So let's cross check and find out, which means so far every batsman has scored runs less than 10. That's why it has been universally updated all the records with a yeah, sorry. So that's why it has updated all the records with the batsman score to 10. Now, if in case it's been a different one, or if it has a number greater than 10, then it is accordingly, it will keep it, or it will change it depending upon what is the value you specify. Getting it, guys? Uh, Shivani, Dan, Nivedita, are you getting the concept behind it, like how it is working with respect to max? The same applies if you do a min function, right? The reverse way. So when I do a min, what happens is if the value over the batsman's score is compared with 10, whatever being the minimum, that will be kept and the other value will be updated. So that's how the min and the max function, as these two aggregates, it will go. Fine. Now, one last operation, which is again a little advanced one for you, but I know you can definitely get it, which is basically called upsert. Have you used this term upsert anywhere? Any idea on what is this upsert command or upsert word looks? In your MySQL and your RDBMS, you would have this, no? Upsert? No, no, not absolute value. Upsert, UPSERT. Upsert. Okay. Okay, no problem. What an upsert will do, it is nothing but a combination of update and insert. That is why it is called upsert. You guys are able to see my annotations, right? Yeah, okay. So what this upsert command, yeah, upsert command is basically like it is a combination of your update and insert. So what it will be, it is a very efficient operation actually. Now it can be clubbed along with your update many function, and what it will do is it will check out for this condition. Okay. Now if at all, if this condition is matching, then you have to write something called upsert, and here you have to specify either true or false along with your set or increment or max, whatever operations you want. So what it will do, whenever there is a matching record with this condition, it will do whatever you're asking, either a max or an increment or an set or an unsert, whatever it will, you're asking, it will update. If there is no match found, right? If there is no match found for this combination, then it will basically insert a record with this particular match ID and ball ID. Okay, and then if it is a set, it will set a value for that particular entry. If it is an increment, it will increment. Like this, whatever operation we are doing, it will make it effective. I'll show you here. So let's clear this, and I'm going to take the same bunch of statement. We'll try it out with a different one when we do the next one. So now I'm going to take the same bunch, and I know there is some records inside it. So for all of them, I'm going to do an increment of batsman score to 10. So now what this statement will do along with this, you have to pass your upsert to true. Upsert to true. Okay, along with this existing statements. Now what will happen if the combo is existing? It will do the increment. Now if this combo is not existing, what it will do? It will insert a new record with that particular combination. As simple as it is. Now simply I'm writing 36. As you know, this combination is existing, and that is why it is saying it as a modified count. Okay, now you can also go back here and cross check quickly. So as you see here, the batsman's code has been changed to 20, because previously when we apply the max function, it was 10, and now I have incremented it by another 10, so it becomes 20. Now what will happen for this? I don't think there is any ball ID 0, but let me quickly check. There are no results, right? So ideally, will it fall under update category or insert category if I do this combo? Insert, right? Let's see. So I'm going to take this same upsert true. And here, if you can find, the upserted count right now comes as 1. Because now this upsert function is basically being active. Because previously it was just a modification of the existing record. Now it has been considered as an upserted count. Now go here and cross check on your entry now. Previously it was no result. Now I'm quickly doing a find. I could find this new record have been inserted with whatever ball ID that I have given, whatever match ID that I have asked for, and whatever incremented value of batsman's code was there. Since it is an increment and I don't have any value before, it takes exactly the incremented value as the actual value of batsman's code. Okay, are we getting this? This is your upsert functions. So upsert functions are used a lot on your real case situations, because not necessarily always you will be only doing updates. Sometimes delta records come. These delta records we have to cross check. Okay. Yeah, any questions on upsert? So upsert adds records if it was not, yes, exactly. So if the matching is there, if any matching is there, then it will update. If no matching is there, it is an insert. Got it then? So what you said was right. So upsert adds records if it was not before. Fine. I hope, yeah, great. If everyone is clear, it's great. So this is an upsert function. It is a little costly operation, I should say, compared to all the other existing operations that we do have, because of the reason, ideally, when you do with some condition, it is great. But then sometimes when the condition itself is giving you more number of records, then it is going to be a little costly operations, right? Okay, and one last thing you have to see here is renaming. So I'm going to delete all this, and I'm going to write a new function called rename. Now, which one? Let's rename. Let me change this to 2. I'm changing something like non-striker ID to just like, or else which one? Let's change. Okay, that is innings underscore ID. I just want to change it to inn underscore ID. Okay, so it's going to be innings underscore ID. I'm interested in changing it into in underscore ID. Just a simple field change. That's it. Field name change. So now in this okay, I did it for ball 0. Let me do for ball 2. So ball 2, we have 36 records, right? So all 36 has to be updated. So now for all this 36, specifically for all this 36, the innings ID field has been changed to in underscore ID. So let's cross check. As you see, the modified one becomes INN. And also remember, the order of the fields is not a problem at all. But then whenever you are touching upon any column, then obviously it will come towards the end. So when you are modifying something, it comes towards the end. So that's the reason the position basically changes. But the position is not a matter at all here. As you know, it's a completely flexible schema. Any column can come at any point of time. Got it? This is your rename function. So rename, increment, max, min, set, unset are all the functions that we have seen. I hope all these functions are clear with all of you. And let's do the delete ones now. Okay. Now, how about delete? As I told you before, you can delete an entire document here, right? You can remove an entire document, but removing only the fields inside it, you can either go ahead by doing the update menu unset functions, and then you can do it. Or if you want a particular document to be deleted from your shell, then definitely you can go ahead and do it by using delete many functions. Now, I don't want to go ahead and delete document by document satisfying certain condition. If there is any command in shell that can help me, then we have a command called delete many. So how this works is, delete one also is there, which is very similar to update one. So I'm going to delete all the match IDs which are 335987. I think we have around some 220. I'm not remember exactly. 335987, right? Yeah, 225. Okay, so all the records with this match ID has been deleted at one shot. If you have to do that in your compass, basically you have to go to document by document and you have to do. Now when I do, I should be getting 0 because I deleted this whole match ID itself. Got it? Now similarly, after deleting, now if I want to check on what are all the unique match ID that I have, count of count function will be different here. So it will basically be distinct. I'll get here. So 476 more items are there. So it's pretty much bigger. So it's not been getting displayed out here. So that's how you can find the distinct records also along with your uh, columns. Have a look on it. Let me know if you have any uh, thing to ask. So this is delete many. The same way you can do delete one also. Okay. Fine. Now coming back here, and we have covered the update functions, delete functions, and within update we have seen the different operators. Now let's go ahead and use the MongoDB tools, because as I said in the yesterday session, um, not always you will enter inside your Mongo framework and work. Sometimes you would demand your program to communicate with Mongo and extract the records, or your program will generate some data and you want the program to push the data inside a Mongo collection, so that the later part of your project can come and read the data from Mongo, right? That situation can also happen. And for those reasons we need. Could you specify again about deleting not documents but fields inside the see fields inside the document? We did this unset operator. You don't have the delete function for that. Delete function, delete many or delete one is only to delete, uh, to perform bulk delete of documents. So a particular field inside a document, if you want to delete, you have to use this unset operator. Remember, we use this $unset, wherein you specify a particular bunch of records. Now, records satisfying these bunches it will take, and it will clear out this particular column if they contain it inside. This is through update many, deletion of a field. Deletion of an entire document is only happening through delete one or delete. If you want me to repeat this, I'll do, not a problem. Let me go ahead and do. Okay, you got it? Great. Okay, so, but if you want me to be very clear on this, delete a field inside a doc, that can be done through update many with unset, combining with unset operator. Okay, delete a document or multiple documents can be done by delete one or delete many. So if you go to field wise deletion, go with update many and call unset. A document, a single document or a bulk of documents satisfying some condition, then again put the conditions inside the first bracket, and what is that you are interested, I mean, the entire documents will basically get deleted. You don't have to basically pass two curly brackets there. One curly bracket is enough. That is going to give you the entire uh, records, which will get deleted by using the delete many functions. Am I clear then? Okay, fine. Now, as I said, we need to talk about MongoDB tools. Now, I know this is a little advanced area for you, but I will be covering this stuffs in a detailed way in the course actually, and also with some advanced complex data, in the sense like having arrays inside documents, having nested documents inside a single document. But right now, I'll explain you about the tools part. Now, what is a tool? Now, as I said, imagine I'm writing a .py code. Okay, I'm writing a py code. Now, I'm connecting with, I mean, you have a module called PyMongo. If in case you don't know about it before, it is nothing but a library which contains all the Python and the Mongo related jar files associated. So from your Python program, you can connect with your Mongo. Now, when you're doing that, if you want to import some data from your Mongo or from the Python code, the result that you have generated, you want to push it into the Mongo database, then that is where we need Mongo import and Mongo export. And as the name clearly tells you, you can guess out what it simply means. Now, if you want to import something inside your Mongo, either from a Python code or a Java code or from an Unix shell, then you will use a Mongo import command. If you want to take out something from your Mongo database and push it inside as a file called as a CSV file or a JSON file so that my program can later take it and process, then you go ahead with a Mongo export command. Use tool, that is DB tool. I mean, tool in the sense, don't imagine that's going to be a GUI wherein you specify. It is only through commands. They are just some bunch of statements which you will write, which will help you to either import or export. Okay, Shushmita, I'll show you how you can write. So open a command prompt. Okay, now these Mongo import and export, they would have been downloaded by uh, the link that I have shared you yesterday, MongoDB tools link. That link you have to use, and it will download a bunch of exe commands, and all of them get executed when you run that MongoDB zip file. And once you have downloaded, it will generate a bunch of bin files, and that will be inserted inside your parent installation directory. Now, let me show you first a simple Mongo import, and then we can go ahead and do an export. Now, what a Mongo import is going to do, I'm going to pick up a file, which could be either a CSV or a JSON, and I'm going to convert it into a new collection. So for you, I have few. mm, Okay, now there is a bunch of, I mean, this is again some good sized file which is in a JSON format. Okay, now what we are going to do is I'm going to convert this JSON file into a Mongo collection. I'm not going through Compass. Remember, again, this needs to happen from any kind of program. So you need to know how out of Compass or how out of Mongo shell I can do this installation. So the statements that I'll tell you. So it is a simple Mongo import, and then specify what is the DB under which you are interested in loading this. So Learnbay webinar is my database name, and what is the collection name that I want to build. Why this thing is interrupting? Okay, now in collection, I'm going to mention something like iris. It is a simple iris based data set, so I'm specifying the name as iris. JSON array, which tells you that it is going to be a JSON file, and that needs to be stored inside your Mongo as a collection. And the final one is file. What is the location of your file? Now this is the location. So I'm copying this, and you can paste it here. Paste the file name also. Okay, hit enter. It will say 150 documents imported successfully, 0 documents failed to import, which simply means I have imported basically everything. That's it, right? So go here, do a quick refresh. You should be able to see this new iris, which comes under your Mongo, and these are the different values associated. Okay. So a JSON file has been converted into a Mongo collection without basically entering inside a Mongo shell or a Compass. This is a JSON file. Let me show you how about if it is a CSV file. For CSV file, again, I'll take some sample CSV. Okay, we have this something called building CSV. Okay, just some random CSV file. You can pick up anything that you want. It has to be a CSV file. That's it. That's the only thing. So Mongo import again db Learnbay webinar. Do we have anything of this name before? Okay, let me change like building import. Then specify the type. What is the type of file that we are trying to do? Because see, when we did a JSON import, the JSON array parameter itself simply tells you that it is a JSON file that you're going to do. And to the earlier Mongo versions, as I said, right now we are in 6.0. Now to the earlier 5.1 and all those, when we are in downloading a JSON file, you use the type parameter only there as well. But now they have changed it to JSON array so that even a complex or an embedded JSON documents can be imported correctly. Okay. And after this, you specify the header line. Header line is important if at all the file comes up with an header on it, and then specify the file location. Go to the path again and come back here and do a building.csv. That's it. Now again, it has been imported successfully. So now go to the compass, again do a quick refresh. You should get this new file which contains all the CSV content being pushed here. Okay. So whether it's a CSV or a JSON, we can import. Now let's do an export. Okay, because export is also required, as I said, from Mongo. Like for example, if there are data scientists in your project stream, they want to analyze the data which is there on your Mongo. They don't want to enter inside your Mongo's territory, rather they want to do it from an other platform where they want to check it out. Then they can go ahead and do it. So how you can do? Simple, come here again, do a Mongo export. So now I'm interested in taking, let's take our transactions. Okay, there is a collection called transactions, right? So I'm taking that. And then the type is going to be CSV. I want to convert this into a CSV. Now here you have an extra feature, which is, see, this is my transaction. You can specify what are all the fields that you are interested in reading. You ideally don't have to read everything. So I'm going to specify, I need account ID and I need bucket start date. Okay, just these two fields alone. Okay, you can specify what are all the fields basically you need. And finally, the out parameter. Out, like how we have in import, we have the file parameter which does the job of locating the file. Here it is going to be out, because to what location you want it to be stored as an output. So again, I'm specifying this as my path, and specifying this. So I'm just simply writing transact out export. And I want this to be a CSV. So give an extension on CSV. That's it. Okay, I changed it to training. The DB name is Learnbay webinar, right? It's not training. There is no data, there is no collection called transaction inside that. That's why it is throwing an error. So I changed this to Learnbay webinar. Now you have exported. So it contains around oddly around 1800. Let's go back to my location and cross check. So where is the file? So you should be seeing, yeah, see here, transact out underscore export. and you could see the two fields which were there on my uh, Mongo collection has been converted into a CSV file. Okay, name of your file, transact out export. So this is for a CSV file. Again, I will show you for your JSON file also. So let's take the same one. Okay, but in JSON, you can't specify the field. The moment you specify you are going to export it into a JSON, it is compulsorily that all of them has to be taken. So you can't change anything on the fields, but I'm going to change this to export JSON and change the extension name also to JSON. Okay, again the same bunch of records. There is no change in the records. There is only change in the fields. That's why same number comes here as well. Mm, So I'm going to do a quick refresh and you could see this is my thing. Now, if you can observe, you can find one thing which is odd here, which is you are getting the underscore ID also here when I'm doing in a JSON format. But when I download it into a CSV format, can you see the underscore ID is not there, right? Both are coming from a same Mongo collection. But when I have exported it to a CSV file, there is no underscore ID. Underscore ID, I hope you guys remember. It is nothing but the unique column on every document. Correct. Now, but can you observe them coming up in the JSON? Any idea why do you think that it is happening in this way? Yes, getting my question. We are exporting, yeah, because as Nivedita, as you said, in JSON, you can't control what kind of fields that you are basically exporting. You ideally have to export everything, but in when you are doing it in a CSV format, you have this fields option. So if in case you still want the underscore ID, then please specify it on this list, so it will automatically be exported out for you. Okay, simple, clear on the imports and exports. I have explained in both the ways, like uh, import from a JSON as well as from a CSV, and export again from a JSON and CSV. Do I understand right a workflow for analyst, for example, to export numerical data from, do I understand right a workflow for analyst, for example, to export numerical data from Mongo? Yeah, it is possible. It is very well possible. That's what I'm saying, like generically how to do an import and export I am discussing here, because the point is I can't I mean explain you with respect to all interfaces, right? There are thousands of them. So you can integrate your Mongo with your big data. You can integrate specifically with a Spark cluster. You can integrate with a Power BI. We can integrate with a simple Python code or a Java code or a Scala program, or even for that sake Hadoop. You can integrate with all of them, provided to whatever component that you are basically importing, they should support this integration. Getting it done. But to answer your question in a generic way, yes, you can integrate with all this component. Just make sure whatever component where you are trying to import these data, they are providing a jar file. It's like you should be having a necessary jar which is communicating between the Mongo and whatever component that you are connecting. Now, I believe most of the component, especially the components dealing with bigger size data, they do have an unstructured data, they do have integrations with Mongo. So very well it's possible. What kind of data you want to import, it's up to you. See, no, I mean, I don't know why you explicitly specify numerical data. It can be any type data depending upon how it is stored in your collection. Exactly. Then for different kinds of integration, you have to get connected with your Mongo's website, right? And they also do provide, wait, let me quickly show you MongoDB. So here you can come up and see, this is my next topic which I was about to show you, but then you can come back down here. Here there is a place where they have mentioned to what are all the programs that you can directly integrate with. Uh, just give me a second. Yeah. Okay. So if you come down, they do provide the integrations for all programming languages, whatever we do have. Just go ahead and browse over their website. They do have a lot of informations about what are all the products to which they can directly connect with, and what are all the different domains under which they are currently working with. So all this information is there. And one more thing, I just thought of sharing it yesterday itself. um, like there is a very interesting um, site offered by the same MongoDB team. I would recommend all of you to go ahead and have a look on it. And if in case you get time, you can go ahead and enroll courses with them. It's absolutely free again. Okay, it is called MongoDB University. You can go ahead and list out all the courses that they do provide. They do provide courses on different categories, and they do provide certifications too. So when it comes directly from MongoDB itself, you guys can make out how value it will be, right? Since they are upcoming, they do give all this, otherwise you don't get all these benefits. So I would recommend, you, if at all you want to scale up yourself um, with different concepts under Mongo, these stuff certainly help you. Okay, and the good part is, since they are upcoming, it comes completely at free for you, and the certification is directly coming from MongoDB University itself. I mean, from the organization itself, correct? So it has certainly its own value. And one more thing before we close is Mongo Cloud. Okay, so again, go to this. This will give you an another perspective of cloud altogether. Okay, I'll sign in my account and show you. This is just my personal account, so I can show you. Okay, now if you could see, this is called Mongo Atlas, or also known as Mongo Cloud. Now, what is a Mongo Cloud is basically is, now we have hired missions and we have kept them inside our individual missions, a standalone mission, and we are doing certain processing with whatever unstructured data that we do have, right? But then when you go inside your industry, you will be having huge amount of data such that you cannot keep it in your individual machine. A standalone machine cannot handle that load, right? Now, in those situations, how things can be helpful for us, Mongo is offering you a cloud-based solution for the same. So it is giving you a cluster which you can hire it from cloud, from their set of missions that they do have, the cloud-based missions. You can hire data from there. Sorry, you can hire missions from there, and you can upload your data inside those cloud-based missions, and you can connect it, and you can process the data. You can upload all kind of your data, and you can process it. Of course, if you have a question on how about security, will the data be really secure enough? Will it be reliable enough? All this stuff comes under a cost, right? Now, the basic service that they provide is like, as you see, here I go and I can go ahead and create it. Let me go to the home screen. So the moment when you log in inside your cloud, here you will be getting an option called create. Now, all these are pretty self-explanatory, so you don't need any guide or document to do them. So just click on create. It will take you into the steps of creating a new cluster. Now, it can connect it at a backend with existing cloud service providers, and you can also control what kind of applications you need inside your cluster missions, all those, right? So the huge steps. So I'm just skipping and I'm showing the one that I do have. Now this is the one that I do have, and these are some of the databases and collections that comes along with that, along with your cloud, which contains a good amount of data inside it. Okay, data which is of complex types as well as some basic types. Now this feature is basically called Atlas. Mongo Cloud is Atlas. It comes up with different tiers. Free tier comes up with certain configuration. You want to go little higher, pay and get it, pay on demand. All those features are there. There is one other interesting feature is there, which is called charts. MongoDB charts. Now, this can also be useful, which is kind of similar to a Tableau or any visualization report based tools. Now, here you can take an entire collection and you can view them depending upon different patterns that you are interested in. Suppose I'm looking out for I'm having a complete sales data. I want to see the sales growth based on products, or I want to see the sales based on month or year or on dates. Then accordingly, you can build up charts for that and you can have a look on it. So different based charts you could see, right? Pie charts, bar graphs, and all those. You can add a chart with whatever collection that you're having on your cloud, and all those can be done. So this is with respect to charts, and Atlas is nothing but your cloud based MongoDB. Got it? Okay. Any questions based on this? The cloud based service providers, which is the cloud service, which is basically Atlas, and the charts which comes along with that. Okay, please do go ahead, and it's completely free right now. I don't know when they will make all the stuffs being chargeable. At least the community stuffs there won't be charging right now, so you can very well go ahead and make use of it. Okay. Now, these are the areas that you need to have, that you need to understand as a basic of Mongo. Now, getting into the classes, you will also see about complex data types like arrays and documents inside it, and how to set indexes, and how to build explain plan for queries, and how to do aggregations inside queries, and all those complex stuffs. Okay, guys. If you have any questions, please go ahead. Otherwise, I'll hand over to the Learnbay team. Hope this session is helpful. You would have got some, I believe I would have got some idea on some of the basics. And as I said, go ahead and make use of the online resources from MongoDB website itself. You can, Nivedita, but you can't directly store it as an image itself. You have to convert it into a different file format, sequential bin file format, and you can store it. So processing them is a little different compared to processing the actual data, but very well you can store. Okay, great. Thanks, Den. Thanks for that. Hope I have shared some knowledge to all of you with respect to Mongo. Fine, guys, then. So if we don't have any more questions, welcome, Shushmita. I'll hand over to Karishma. I hope she's there. Yeah, Karishma. I'm done from my side. You can take it forward from here. Thank you, Ratna. Thank you, Amulya. Thanks for your feedback. That helps. Yeah, Karishma, please carry on.
Yes, ma'am.